Here's some breaking news for you. The job market sucks. Yeah, as if none of you guys out there knew that. Well, how many job-seeking people are unemployed? What are the real numbers? Let's check this video out.
The unemployment rate in America is a lie. And here's why. The government says it's 4.2%. That number sounds low. It sounds like things are fine. Here's how they get that number. They only count people still looking for a job. If you gave up searching, you're not counted. If you work part-time but want full-time, you're still counted as employed. If you drive Uber or deliver groceries to survive, you're still deemed employed. If you're working 2 jobs and still broke, it doesn't matter. And here's the craziest part. Only 0.43% of Americans are surveyed to calculate the official rate. That's less than half of 1%. So, even if your whole community is unemployed, there's a good chance no one in your zip code was even asked. Many people don't feel the numbers match reality. You walk down your street, shuttered stores, closed restaurants, empty offices, and yet you're told everything's fine. Main Street is drying up. AI is replacing jobs. Retail is collapsing. Gig work is rising. But none of that makes it into the official story. Want the real number? Look at U6. It includes discouraged workers and part-timers. That number is closer to 8%. Double. So next time you hear unemployment is low, ask yourself, do these numbers reflect your reality?
We have summarized the current state of things, and it ain't good. I mean, really, what is the current U.S. unemployment rate? Well, if you get the official one, they say as of June 2025, the unemployment rate in the United States is 4.1%. That's a slight decrease from May. That was 4.2%. In June 2025, the U.S. added 147,000 jobs, surpassing expectations. That growth is primarily in local and state government, as well as healthcare and social assistance. We don't need any more government workers. DOGE was put in place to remove a bunch of the bureaucratic bloat. It's a bunch of people not doing a whole lot on their jobs with that guaranteed employment. So, that's not a bragging point, so you added 147,000 jobs. That's one perspective. Now, ADP, the payroll processing company, they tell a different story. In June 2025, they reported that we lost 33,000 private sector jobs. That's the first decline since March 2023. Significant losses were in the professional and business sectors and health and education. That's a complete contradiction to what the government just told us. Hey, we gained 147,000 jobs in June. ADP, processing payroll, they're saying, no, they lost 33,000. So, who do you believe? ADP or the government? I know who I'm leaning towards. So let's look at unemployment. We know the official unemployment number. That's a joke. So by definition, who is counted as unemployed? Well, if you're not employed, that means you don't have a job. That's a no-brainer. You're available for work. That means you should be available to accept a job if it's offered to you. And lastly, you're actively seeking work. So their criteria for that is if you made at least one active attempt to find employment in the past 4 weeks. That's a pretty low bar. Hell, people get on Indeed, they can knock out 50 apps within an hour. Just spray and pray those job openings. But that's definitely a topic for another video. Then we have exclusions from the unemployment rate. Those are individuals who exhausted their unemployment benefits, so they're no longer included on the unemployment stat. That's mind-boggling. You think about it. They say, the government's criteria for that is these people who they're unemployed, but they exhausted the benefits, they're no longer actively seeking work. They may have given up because they're discouraged. And then when you take that in consideration, that these people, they surpassed their unemployment benefits, they remain unemployed, but in the government's eyes, they no longer count. That has to be a substantial amount of people right now affected in that category. That makes no sense why we would discount them. Hey, you don't have a job? You don't have a government check coming in, so you're worse off than before the unemployment benefits kicked in? Well, guess what? We're not counting you anymore. You don't exist to us. Defies logic. So unemployment benefits, the standard is 26 weeks. Most states have 26 weeks of unemployment benefits. That's a long time. It's a half a year, 6 months. But there are some states that only offer 12 to 14 weeks. I believe Florida is 12 weeks and Georgia is 14. So if you live in one of those states, you're hurting a lot faster than the rest of the country. Because other people, they got months and months to go to ride that unemployment check. It buys them time. And in this current state of the economy, you need that time. It is a piece of cake to go beyond 6 months when you're actively searching. And you can be banging out the job sites daily. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there where people are going, oh, I've been unemployed for 7 months. I've applied to 2,000 jobs, something crazy. Maybe they had 3 interviews, landed one, they get ghosted. There's a ton of that going on. Yet, if you live in Florida and Georgia, you're going to be screwed with 12 or 14 weeks. You're just getting started in the job search in that amount of time. These crazy things are going. And then we get down after the unemployment rates that are defined by the Fed, you get the labor force participation rate. Now, this has been declining since 2000. Right now, they say the labor force participation rate is 62.3%, which is a slight decrease from last month, which is 62.4%. So it's only 0.1%, yet that shows it's heading in the wrong direction. It's going down. And in the year 2000, we were at our peak of the labor participation force. The rate was 67.3%. 67.3%. So it's exactly 5 points higher than it is today. And the participation by demographics, about 88% of men and 78% of women that were born in the 1990s are participating in the workforce. And for the NEET, which is the not employed, not in education, not training. So these people are no longer have a job. They're not going to school, and they're not in some training program. They call that NEET. And that NEET rate for young men is 13.5%, and it's 17% for women. The underemployment rate. The underemployment rate, that measures the percentage of workers who are not fully utilizing their skills or they're working few hours than desired. Now, the ones that are not utilizing their skills, those are all the folks out there that they graduated with an accounting degree, marketing, the worst of them all, liberal arts. They have these degrees, but they're flipping burgers at McDonald's. I imagine that. I saw a comment on one post where the guy graduated with a degree in neuroscience, and he's working in retail. I mean, wrap your mind around that. Imagine what that does to your psyche. You busted your butt to get that kind of degree, and you're coming out of college. You're like, oh, sense of accomplishment. And you're doing the same joke of a job that you were doing while you were in college. You're doing the college kids' job. Yeah. That's a bad position to be in. And let's see, the underemployment rate for the youngins out there, the underemployment rate for recent college graduates, is insanely high. 41.2%. 41.2% in the first quarter of this year. That is a disastrous number, which if you got these young college guys getting out, that challenge alone won nearly half of us. We're not making it. Underemployment would be the people who you might have a job. What kind of job is it? I'm sure it's not that marketing job that you want because that's the degree you earn. Oh, no. It's that it's the side gig. It's the food delivery service. That's not going to cut it in this economy. So what is the real number? We have different measures of unemployment. Yes, it's the government, so they don't shoot straight. They don't tell you directly how it is. The official unemployment rate right now is 4.1%. And in the video, it stated the U6. The U6 unemployment rate, that's the broader measured rate. That's 7.7%. That includes the unemployed and those working part-time gigs. And there's a third one, the estimated true rate of unemployment. That is between 6.3 and 6.8%. That accounts for all the individuals who have left the labor market and they're not counted. So you think, why don't we start with that number? Because that number is getting closer to the truth, although that number still doesn't encompass all the individuals out there that are hurt. Plenty of us are struggling. And no matter how you label us, unemployed, underemployed, using U6, U3, doesn't matter. Bottom line is you don't have a damn job. You ain't paying the bills. So, what is the real unemployment rate? Now, the true unemployment rate, if you take all these different variables and put them together, it's just about 25% of Americans are functionally unemployed. Those are the individuals who are not only unemployed, but they're underemployed or they're earning less than a living wage. So you got guys who are, hey, I'm doing a side gig because that's all I can get. That ain't cutting it. Or I don't have a job, period. Or I got a pathetic job, flipping burgers, a good example, and it doesn't pay the bills. Those jobs are making $25K or less a year. 25% of us are seeking full-time work. That's the true unemployment number, 25%, 1 out of 4 of us. That's more believable. I'm sure in your own lives, you know people who are struggling. And if you get online, you can ask that question. You're going to get a ton of responses. And you get them immediately. It's showing the true sad state of affairs in this country. So 1 in 4, that's very believable. 1 out of 4 of us, we have a problem. So let's check out this video that's going to sum it all up for us.
Guys, the government is lying to you about the low unemployment rate. Every time they do one of these jobs reports, they always talk about historic unemployment. And they'll throw out numbers like 3.7%, but it's just not the truth. In fact, my friend here, Ben, who is a successful recruiter, runs a podcast, runs an agency, he's reporting that the true unemployment rate is about 24.2%. You see, what these numbers don't include are people who are earning a few dollars. And then it also doesn't include people who are just not looking for work. That could be people who are discouraged by how tough the job market is. Could also be people who are not working because they have to provide childcare because they can't actually afford it. That's why when you look at these numbers and you hear things like it's historic unemployment rate, you need to dig deeper into the actual numbers. Because when you think about it, we're almost 25% unemployment rate, which is super high, and it's not a good scenario. And even people who have jobs, a lot of them have to take on part-time jobs or start side hustles because the jobs that are out there are just not paying enough, especially with inflation in 2024.
Well, that video wraps it up. About 25% unemployed. 1 in 4. That's the reality that we're facing right now. And there's going to be other topics associated with this that I'll make. But it's a sad state of affairs. So anyway, guys, share your experience. Are you unemployed, underemployed, lucky enough to be employed? Whatever you guys got going out there, share your experience, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next round.